Welcome to the Developer Spotlight on the Full Dive Gaming Podcast. In the Developer Spotlight, we sit down here with VR industry professionals. And this week, Jay, Nat, and Lee are all sitting down with Zach and Alex from Freeland VR. Thank you guys for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. Super excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you for having us. We are very excited to be here, and we've got some really cool news to be sharing as well today.
Oh, well, we're excited to hear it. We can't wait, but we got to say thank you real quick to our sponsor. You know them. You've been with us a while. Asterion Products. They're making VR mats. They got some new stuff in the works coming, VR mugs and sweaters. Check them out. Code FULLDIVE is going to save you $5 off any order, $20 or more. Real quick, cool. Just before we get too far into this, for people out there, they may not have heard of Freeland yet. They don't know what Freeland is. Do you want to just give us a real fast rundown of what your one sentence answer, what is Freeland?
For sure. So it's a galactic online adventure game. That is the one sentence to explain the game.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's way cooler than that sounds.
So it's basically a grand adventure together with your friends or from anyone across the world online. Yeah. So it's this large open world online galactic adventure.
So would you call it an MMORPG?
Right. Yeah, we've had that question before, and we used to call it an MMORPG, but now we've kind of shied away a little bit from calling it that for multiple reasons. First of all, because there's so many expectations from like the classical MMORPG audience coming with that, labeling. So we've tried to stay away from it, although we do have probably like 80% of the mechanics you would expect from a typical MMORPG. So if you're an MMORPG player, you'll probably really enjoy Freeland, but at the same time, it's not like World of Warcraft, so it's not like exactly what you would expect from any MMORPG, and that's why we've sort of leaned more into the galactic online adventure labeling, because we have all of these different planets that you travel to from a huge universe, so it's a little bit different from MMORPG in that aspect, and then at the same time, we don't have like those hardcore raids. We do have raids, but it's not what you would expect from like World of Warcraft or from, other types at this, time.
Gotcha. I was thinking World of Warcraft, so...
Well, exactly. We kind of steered away from that typical VR MMORPG model for a number of reasons. Because although we do offer everything that you can expect in one, we feel that we're a lot more than one, and especially moving forward after release. Because we've got I think it must be about a year and a half of updates planned, stemming from buildings to event systems, you can have musical events and things like that. So we feel like we're actually more than just an MMORPG, even though they're amazing. So if you are looking for an MMORPG, absolutely play Freeland, because we have all of those things to satisfy you. But also we don't want to just be confined by that label as well, because we can jump off over here and do this, and we can go that way and we can go that way, while still just being an adventure game. So that's kind of the idea when it came to...
It's also, and to follow up on that, it's also sure, we are more in some aspects, but we're also lacking some of the hardcore aspects that you would expect from an RPG. So we don't want to disappoint anyone either, by over-promising and using that label in that sense. So it's a combination. But long term, we have so many different plans where we also don't want to be limited by that kind of perception.
Yeah, spot on.
You don't want to get stuck in a box.
Yeah, and if you've played World of Warcraft, you'd probably be pretty comfortable, but it's not World of Warcraft. This is bigger.
Exactly. Yeah. So we want to set those expectations clear from the start.
It's like if World of Warcraft had a baby with the Oasis from Ready Player One, and that is so anything, everywhere, all
That's
the time.
That's a big baby. Well, I wanted to ask, so you've been working on versions of Freeland since 2018. That's a long time. What motivated you to make this game and keep it going over all these years?
Right. So when I started Freeland, in 2018, the ideas, the main drive for it was to create as much virtual freedom as possible for players. Because when I went into VR the first time, I realized what crazy things people will be able to experience from basically anywhere. You could experience anything from anywhere, and anyone could experience it. So from that kind of vision, wanted to give as much freedom to people around the world as possible virtually. That was the core of the goal. So it was, because for me, it was really it gave me a lot of hope for the future, realizing wow, if your life isn't exactly where you want it to be, you can get the life you want in VR. Although it might sound dystopian, that was that's been the drive behind Freeland, the core drive, I would say.
Nice.
You've talked already a little bit about it, and you keep saying this is more than an MMORPG. You're talking about concerts and other things. Would you maybe actually say this is going to be more of a social hub / game?
Yes, certainly. The social aspect is huge in Freeland. So although we have all the gaming elements to keep players hooked and to to have something to look forward to and something to do all the time, yeah, the social elements are what will ultimately keep the players there, we believe, for a long time. So definitely it's the combination.
Yeah, for us, it's like, it's not just what you can do in game, but it's like who you can be in game. And those interactions is what is keeping VR going. You can make the coolest VR game, but if people can't feel like they're communicating with each other and they're playing with other people, then that game has got a very short shelf life. It's just a cool single player game. And who knows, in 6 months, is it going to still be played and things like that. So we know that from looking at other VR games, that social VR games are the ones that last the longest because they're the most rewarding to the players. You can find your tribe, you can find your people, you can find your guild. And they absolutely diversify and make these VR games way more fun as well. So we just want to help connect the world, bring everyone to an equal level. It's totally for free. And we just want everyone to have a good time and make the world a bit of a smaller place through VR.
You actually almost said a line from the movie you mentioned, Ready Player One. Earlier, you almost said it verbatim there. You were like, they stay for what they can be.
Yeah.
Okay, so Freeland will be available on VR headsets, Quest and PC VR, but you also made it available for flat gaming on PC. What was the inspiration for that?
Right. So actually, that is our ultimate goal, and it does work on flat screen, but it's not something we would recommend at all at this point. Although we are working on the port, and we will work more on it, and also a mobile version that we have in mind for the future. But for now, we would only recommend the VR version.
That makes sense. When I was researching a little bit, I saw in some places it said available for flat PC, and other places it didn't, and I wasn't really sure exactly how that was going to go.
Right. So yeah, that is still part of the plan, and it does work. But yeah, as I said, I wouldn't recommend it really for non-VR.
And so once the flat version is kind of more optimized, would VR players be able to play with flat screen PC players?
Yeah, exactly. Everyone will be able to play together.
Oh, so nice.
And Quest players will be able to play with PC VR right off the bat?
Yes. It's all crossplay.
Very
and
cool.
We also plan to port to PSVR when we can.
Sweet.
Nice, because they keep getting left out. Do you need to wait for phones to get better, or is it possible to actually get this thing running on mobile hardware now?
Right. The funny thing, is because we've done so much optimization already for the Quest 2. So since we got it running there, it should be possible to run it on a phone already. So we just need to optimize the UI and stuff. So yeah, that's going to be pretty exciting.
It is our plan to go to mobile as well. That is definitely within the future for us. It's got the biggest player base, and we can really bring Freeland to everyone then, where everyone can play together.
Yeah, although VR is still our ultimate ambition. So yeah.
For sure.
It's what all the social hubs are trying to kind of do. VR Chat has a mobile, Rec Room has a mobile version, but I think ultimately those work to subsidize the play. If you're out on the road or something, you do it, but you get home and you play on your PC, or ultimately you try and play in VR, and that's just way better.
Yeah, for sure.
What kind of in-app purchases are you hoping to have for people? What are they going to be buying with real world money?
Oh yeah, so they're buying all sorts of cool mounts and vehicles. We have tons of super exclusive dragons, very cool cars, and other types of vehicles like hoverboards, and mounts like horses, and so much more.
Nice.
And we're not going with a pay to win model at all. This is very sort of like the Fortnite cosmetic sort of model, where you can buy a dope car and flex on your friends that you've got this sick car and things like that. So really sort of creating this culture of a FOMO in the game, and hopefully that will be pushing our sales. And then later on, when we've sort of optimized the event system, you'll be able to buy event tickets and then sell them off, and then people can buy the events, and the orbs come straight to your account as you're hosting events. And the events can be anything. Let your imagination run wild. It can be a night in a club. It can be something on a stage, something musical related. It could be a talk show. It could be comedy club. It could be anything. And then these creators of these events are able to monetize from their own thing. So we're hopefully bringing sort of a new facet to VR game in a way of people being their own event managers and earning from actually hosting these cool events.
Yeah, similar to Rec Room in a way.
Yeah.
Is that only in-game currency, or are you talking people can make real money inside the game?
From the beginning, it will probably be in-game currency, but it might change in the future.
Yeah, we're not saying no to those things at all.
I would ride my dragon over to karaoke in the game.
Yeah. That was
For
pretty cool.
sure.
So
Yeah.
Freeland looks like a huge undertaking. So can you tell us about some of the challenges you guys had making this game and then how you overcame those challenges?
Yeah, we've had so many challenges and still have like you pretty much every day. So yeah, it is the reason we're doing it is because we love it so much. Like if we wouldn't, yeah, we would probably not enjoy all the challenges. But some of the challenges we faced is optimization for the quest has been extremely difficult, and we're very happy where it's at now. But yeah, there's still even more we can do, but we've done pretty much, insane amounts of work on that. And other challenges has been like just satisfying the player base because there's so many different types of players. And for a game like this, everyone has very different expectations. So that's been very challenging, but we've also been super happy to work together with the community and listen to everyone's feedback and do our best to satisfy as many people as possible.
So when you started development on this, that was like 2018. So Quest 3 hadn't even been thought of yet. So did that present any challenges when you're getting new headsets every 3 years, but you're developing for 6 years?
Right. Yeah, definitely. At the beginning, it was only PC VR, and there wasn't really plans for standalone at all. But then, like 2021 late, I think we realized, okay, we have to do standalone. So that's when we went with that and started up.
That's a big shift.
Yeah, it's a huge shift.
Yeah, and so the Quest 3 was actually easier than the Quest 2 because it's got more computing.
Yeah, certainly.
When we first did the Quest 2, that was the 64 gigabyte old Quest. And that took us a year and a half to get like some of the like one planet running. So just for context here as well, for our viewers, Freeland's planets, each and every one of them are pretty much bigger than every other whole game in other standalone games.
Wow.
So and that's just one of our planets, and we've got 5, and then we're going to have like, I think it's 8 by the end of the year or something crazy. So yeah, we've got these enormous play areas. So getting everything to run, and you can download the whole game with all of the music and all of the features and all of the assets, all for under 6 gigabytes. So around 6 to 7 gigabytes, and we got it down. We packed it in. So.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, I know. And instead you've got about 5, you've got like 5 whole worlds that you can take like 3 hours just to get around, sort of thing.
Nice.
Big strides. And the thing about the game, so as we're speaking right now, you're kind of in the last few days of testing, but this thing launches on the 19th of September. How has early access or alpha gone? Are you launching into early access? Are you launching into beta, or is this thing fully here on Thursday?
Right. Yeah, it is early access for sure. But we would definitely consider it like finished in a sense because there is so much in it already, like tons and tons of stuff. But we still have this huge vision of stuff we want to add and so many improvements because of the huge scope. So yeah, we've been in beta for like 2 years and ironed out tons of bugs, but obviously there are still tons of more bugs. So that's why we're doing early access. Yeah.
Nice.
Exciting.
There's also like, for a game like this, when you're adding like so much content all of the time, like I think we got like a new planet coming like every month and a half. And this was like for the next year or so. So like we've got all this content ready to go. New quests, new events, new systems, building and all sorts, player housing. So it's like, when do we even get to the point where we can go, this is done, we're finished here? Because then we're introducing things like user-generated content. So it's kind of like the labels of like, is this a beta, is this early access, or is this the game? Doesn't really fit us either, because I can't see a point in time where we stop working on Freeland. Like this is like our life now. This is like, we love this. It's all we want to do all of the time. And so there's never going to be a point where we can just package this, put a bow on it, and put it under the Christmas tree as being done, because this will constantly be worked on, maybe for the next 10, 15 years.
Yeah, with the entire concept of Freeland, you've kind of pigeonholed yourself to never stop working on it. I mean, the name Freeland and then everything about it. You're talking about fighting, you're talking about racing, you're talking about flying. I mean, you're doing all kinds of things. You're doing everything. It's Freeland.
Right. Yeah, that is true.
And this makes me think about the big disappointment of Grand Theft Auto. You know, we're all thinking that's coming to VR, and then maybe it's not. And I feel like this is obviously it's not like Grand Theft Auto, but it kind of is, because it's like this big, huge open world. Like it's going to be that instead of Grand Theft Auto, we're going to have Freeland VR to play, where you can have cool vehicles and stuff. That's pretty cool. So thank you for bringing that to VR for us.
We just want to very much stress that we're more like a wholesome GTA.
Yeah,
Rather than,
yeah.
you can't just walk around killing civilians and stuff in our game.
Good point.
I was
We're like
hoping
the
we could
we're
steal a
cute
dragon and then
GTA.
run someone over with their dragon.
Yeah.
Just getting the cops on you and they're also riding dragons. It would just turn into the most chaotic thing ever.
Okay, well, this has been really interesting. I'm really excited that we get to come play Freeland VR soon. So I wanted to ask before we finish, is there anything we didn't cover that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Great question. Zach, do you have anything to add here?
Yeah, so one of the whole purpose of Freeland right from the very beginning is we made these like non-negotiables, and what we wanted the vision for Freeland to be was that this would be a safe place for everyone. This would be a place where people can experience total virtual freedom. That's why we made the game. You're not defined by a class. You can't not go to this area. Like, you can play and do whatever you want, however you want. You can just spend 7 hours wingsuiting around Time Rise, or finding undersides of buildings, or just being a weirdo in game, and you're totally okay to do that. Like, it's your imagination is your destiny inside of the game. So other things that were really important is we want to bring like joy and happiness, and we wanted it to be a free game for everyone, where everyone can feel accepted and equal. So we're like carefully building like a culture with our Discord, which is like exploding at the moment. It feels like of like zero toxicity. Like, we're building like a loving community where everyone feels like joy in being a part of, because they feel connected to others. And so this wellness, and we want to improve like mental health through doing this. And that's why we partnered with that's why Andromeda and us work so well together as well, because their whole mission is bringing transformative power to VR games and games for good. And so we just aligned perfectly on that. So yeah, that's really what we want to push. We want to be a company that's actively doing good and helping charities and creating a really good game that fosters just wholesome interactions and sort of, just brings joy and freedom to people everywhere.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so wonderful.
That is awesome. VR can do so much more than just gaming.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So,
Make the world a better place.
yeah,
Well,
make the world a better place.
We're excited. By the time this podcast comes out, this should be out. So there's going to be links in the description. Go check out the game. It's free. What can it hurt? And I mean, it sounds like you're going to be able to do a little bit of everything in this. Keep in mind, it is early access. Like Alex said, there's still going to be some bugs and stuff you're going to run into. So join their Discord, help them out, tell them what you're finding in it so that they can get the feedback they need to keep crafting this. But thank you both so much for coming on today. It's been really cool.
Yeah, it's
thank
been
you so much.
wonderful to be here. Amazing to meet you all.
Very good meeting
And
you.
we'll see you guys in game too.
Thank you.
We'll see you
Yep.
in game.
Yes.
We'll be playing
Oh, you will see me in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
On the 19th, look for Assassin 32. I'll be there.
Will do.
You're going to go find them. Well, hey, if you're out there and you want to check it out, make sure and jump in with us. We can check it out together. And if you're listening to this podcast right now, we're also here on YouTube if you want to see all the fun we've been having with some raves in the background and everything else going on. But if you are watching us and you need more, we're here on the go for you. Every podcast platform out there. But thank you once again, all of you, for being here with us. And if you've been thinking about VR, well, now there's a free game that puts you in the galaxy. Maybe it's time. Dive on in.
Dive on in.